Hello and welcome to yet another episode of 20 Somethings. I am joined here, as always, with Lionel, Amelia, who might as well just be a regular, but she's still technically a special guest, Brian, and our actual special guest this week, Natalie. Thank you for joining us. We have three topics we're going to cover. We're going to jump right into it. First up, Lionel, you love this one. Election update. What's going on? Give us an update. Let's talk politics.
All right, so this election just refuses to get off the front page of international news. What we've seen in the last 24 hours is actually a pretty important development, that being for the first time since the November 3rd election, the federal government has actually recognized Joe Biden as the president-elect and as the apparent winner of the election. So this comes after weeks of denial led by the Trump administration and his Republican colluders who've been trying to undermine American democracy. And one thing that's been pretty hilarious about this whole process is the Republicans basically thought they had rigged enough American institutions, such as the courts, bribery, etc. They had a number of lawsuits against the swing states where Biden won. And after extensive recounts, all of them still show the same results, that being Biden's wins have been certified. So now that the election has solidly been won by Biden, for sure, Trump is still refusing to concede, unsurprisingly, as he likely will continue to. But there's also been rumors and reports that the president is considering a 2024 run for office. And a recent poll shows that around 2/3 of registered Republicans would support this in a theoretical primary. So that's the political landscape we're looking at. What I want to ask you guys is, what do you think will happen if Trump runs in 2024? How will you feel about this as a voter? What would this mean for the country? So I just want to open the floor.
My new dream, Lionel, is just to survive till 2024. So I hope a lot of things can change between then and now. I did want to add, though, that while President Trump, I hate saying that, has not conceded, that they are now allowing the Biden administration to begin the transition to power. So that is one positive note for the time being.
Michael and Brian, what do you guys think? Nothing? Okay.
You did the wrong thing, Lionel. You didn't ask the lady. Natalie, what do you think?
Natalie's got something to say, I'm sure of it.
Yes, I do. I just hope there's a peaceful transfer of power. I know it is not likely considering the way Trump has conducted himself during this election. But even if he does choose to run in 2024, which I am praying he doesn't, let's just hope there's not any more catastrophic backlash. I know he's very, very hesitant on this transition of power, but let's just hope he doesn't create any more waves.
We've seen, that's a great point, Natalie. We've seen over the last 4 years how basically awful things can go in just a 4-year span of time, and how ugly American culture can be transformed into. So I have hope that over the next 4 years of hopefully Biden administration, that things can sort of turn around and maybe change a lot as well, but in a more positive direction.
I think something that I've noticed, and just like a general rule of thumb in anything, not just politics, it seems like it's very easy to quickly step back, and it takes a lot more time to kind of gain that ground back and move forward. Like it's a lot harder to recover from something than to do the damage in the first place. So I'm curious to know if, these next 4 years that we have in store, how much will actually get done to maybe fix what has been broken, or, just get things back to the way we used to be. I'm not sure. That's just a question I have. I don't know if anyone else feels that way.
Definitely. I'm choosing to be hopeful because I don't think there's any point not being hopeful at this stage. I'm hesitant as well until Biden's officially in the presidency and he's in the White House and, things are 100% said and done. Then I'll be relaxed. I probably won't feel any sense of relief until then. It's just the world we live in, I guess.
But we're making progress.
We are making progress.
That's what you got to keep reminding yourself, especially with, the news that has come out the past couple of days and the recognition that Biden has won. Now we just got to wait to hear from the president.
They may never come, but good thing we don't need it.
All right. Well, does anyone else have anything? Brian?
I just wish that, I just think it's kind of crazy to see Trump run again in 2024. I think it's crazy because it's you have to understand that, he won. I know you're afraid to move away, but you kind of have to, because you just gotta, just trust that the president, whoever won the election, won, and you just gotta trust that the next president is gonna just make America better again. Just trust in that. Doesn't matter if you lose. Just you have to give up that position, because that's normal life.
Now, I'm not positive about this. Please correct me if I'm wrong. This is more of a question than a statement. I know that there have been times, I'm sure, when a president has served a term, lost the re-election, and then ran again. Right?
Well, no, I don't think so, actually, Michael, because Trump's only, I believe, the third president that has only served a single term.
Well, I'm not saying he's going to win. I'm just saying for someone to run again. What? Who only served one term? The first Bush.
Jimmy Carter.
So maybe it's more than 3.
Well, you guys, Senator Lindsey Graham actually compared Trump to former President Grover Cleveland, who was the only president ever to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. So Grover Cleveland in the late 1800s, did a presidential term, got voted out of office, and then 4 years later, he ran again and got voted back in. So Lindsey Graham, the famous betrayer of John McCain, and Trump's lapdog now, said on Fox News or something that Trump could be the next Grover Cleveland. So personally, I think if he runs again, it'll go up in flames and be completely embarrassing. So
don't we have anybody else they want to
Listen, it's 4 years away.
I know, yeah, I don't
4
know.
years away. Let's get through the now before we start jumping ahead.
The semi thing to me is the Republican Party is partially divided. Not all Republicans voted for Donald Trump, so
I think they love him. To be totally honest, in the same poll that showed 2/3 of Republicans supporting him in 2020, it's the runner-up was Mike Pence, and then below Mike Pence was Donald Trump Jr., and then actual career politicians like Ted Cruz and Nikki Haley were beneath that. But if you can really just think about that for a second, there is a lot of Republican enthusiasm for Trump. If you've got about 2/3 supporting him, and then
elected officials. I meant elected officials that voted in this election, like people that publicly came forward and said yes, I'm a Republican senator, but I'm not voting for Trump for president. I agree. The Republican Party as a whole, yeah, they're gun ho. You're right, Lionel. I will never make that argument. Sadly.
Well, any closing remarks on the election update? Lionel, any final words?
I have spoken.
All right. I think we've done our bit on election this week. Moving on to something that is also very prevalent that we have talked about, I think, every week, which we should. It's a big deal, is COVID. I'm going to share my screen right now. I have pulled up the current COVID numbers in the state of Rhode Island. I can speak to Rhode Island. I can't really speak to other states in particular because, I live here. But our numbers kind of suck. We're doing pretty poorly. If you can see these graphs, this top one that says % positive per week from the beginning of October to mid-November now, we have been gradually getting higher and higher. Some days we've had close to 1,000, if not over 1,000 new cases per day. As you can see today, we had 812, but the number that everyone's been saying we have to really, keep a close eye on is these hospitalizations. They are going up exponentially. It's pretty frightening because the hospitals can only hold so many COVID patients because they need to be so isolated and quarantined. I know that the governor had mentioned that we might be opening up the field hospital again in Cranston. Actually, not again, for the first time. I don't think they've been used yet. So the numbers are doing poorly. She had a press conference addressing Thanksgiving and also what's going to happen after Thanksgiving. Please hold for yet another graphic. So she suggested this pause. And in the pause, as you can tell, most things like K-8 childcare, getting a haircut, getting, any sort of personal services and healthcare, they're staying open. We're scaling back on dining, social gathering. She's saying if you live in your house right now and there are 3 people who live in that house with you, those are the 4 people you're allowed to see. Don't see anyone else. And same thing goes for houses of worship, retail stores, and then colleges are closing, which I don't think impacts us that greatly, because I know like you or I, we had planned on going all online anyway after Thanksgiving. But what I want to ask you about, which I find is very interesting, is this pause has been suggested and is being implemented starting on the 30th, after Thanksgiving, after the holidays. And we know that people are going to travel, even when we said not to, which I don't know what to say about that. I don't know how I feel about it entirely. But this pause does not start until November 30th. So this conference was last Thursday. That's like a good full week of we can still do what we want to do, but then we're going to start this pause afterwards. I want to get your thoughts and opinions on why are we suggesting this pause to start a week after this big holiday that's, after Thanksgiving. Halloween, we saw the numbers spike. So we're going to assume that people aren't going to follow the rules for Thanksgiving. The numbers are going to spike there too. What are your thoughts?
I think you nailed it. Like, it's just an assumption that people aren't going to listen, so that we are preemptively preparing to not re-quarantine, but basically like have this pause or whatever we're calling it. I think my friend was telling me that in Canada, the same thing has already happened, where like they had Canadian Thanksgiving and they had a huge surge right after as well. So I think it's like preemptive. Why we're waiting till the 30th, I don't know. Do we have to wait for people to travel home? Like, it just seems like at this point it's kind of like making allowances. We cannot stop Black Friday, Cyber Monday. They must go on.
Yeah, we can't stop those things, but yeah, it was said that if you go and travel to see your family on Thanksgiving, you'll apparently be planning their funerals by Christmas. So
yes.
I don't know. What do we think about the whole situation? Anyone else?
I think that I just recently have 2 of my friends from Florida that came back from Florida from college, and they're doing okay, which is good. But knowing the fact that these are restrictions are happening, I feel like some states should have restrictions, if you're going here, you need to sign this to make sure everything's okay. Cause you're traveling, and if you're traveling from one state to another, then who knows, you might start not only affecting your families as well, even other people. It's just crazy. There's this thing that's happened in November, and I plan on going it virtually, and then I know there's some people that know they're going to travel for it to go in person, and I'm like, wait, how is this possible? During COVID time, how is this possible? But as long as everyone's safe and following restricted guidelines, then I guess exceptional. But in a time like this where we see that the winter season's coming, and not only that, the flu and the cold is also here as well. COVID, its greatest impact is the cold season, and that's very concerning for all of us. That's really concerning because you don't know if you have the flu or cold. It's you gotta stay inside, make sure you're healthy and warm, and just try to stay away as outdoors as possible from others. The only place you can go is just do school and work. That's about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people forget that just because you're over the pandemic doesn't mean it's over. I know you want to have your holidays. I know you want to see your family. We've all been separated for so long, but people are still dying and the hospitalizations are going up. And I'm sorry, I just don't think, a holiday is worth it. Of course, I am very lucky that I live in the same state. I have access to testing as often as I need it. And I can see my family a little bit more often, but this exception is just if so many people are taking advantage of it, we are going to see another surge in cases, I think, coming into the winter months.
So is anyone here, I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but is anyone here not from Rhode Island, or are we all Rhode Islanders here?
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Could you give us really briefly some insight on maybe how it differs from state to state, your perspective from Connecticut versus us in Rhode Island?
I would say it's pretty much the same in Connecticut, except it's actually not as bad. Like Rhode Island is actually, I think, the worst in New England for COVID, and there's several factors for that. For one, we're the most densely populated New England state. For another, we've got like all these colleges in this tight area, so you've got some like stupid party bros and stuff, but I don't think there's like a radical difference between how Connecticut and Rhode Island respectively have dealt with COVID.
We all just gotta go out into the woods, get away from
You're
everyone.
not leaving the state to go home, Lionel, for Thanksgiving, you said.
No, I'm staying in state.
Because you're smart.
Like a true Rhode Islander would say, wicked smart.
Wicked
Yeah.
smart.
It is interesting because then supposedly what's been put in place, and I don't know, I think this has been kind of a general rule that they're really just starting to enforce more now, even though I don't know how they're going to enforce it. If you leave the state and you come back, you need a test and you need to quarantine for 2 weeks. I know that Raimondo put the National Guard back in TF Green. So these people who are coming in, I think they need to provide their information. This is my name. This is where I'm going. This is how long I'm going to be here. All that information, just so they can kind of, I think it's just like a friendly reminder. I think that's how she phrased it. Kind of just like reminding you should be quarantining. Who knows if they're actually going to be checking in with you. Does anyone know? I'm trying to remember because I'm kind of going off the top of my head here. Did she say there was going to be testing in the airport too? Is that something they put in?
I hopefully there is, because I know the friends that came back from Florida, I don't know if they got tested, but even though if they got it, they should be immune, I believe.
I just looked it up, and did I find anything? They're offering COVID safety kits. It's not necessarily a test, but they're safety kits. What they include, honestly, I can't read fast enough.
Mask, like I don't know. I don't know.
It's something. We're trying anything. I think we're just grasping anything right now to try and get it through. Because again, this vaccine is supposedly on its way by January, so we'll see what happens.
And like the crazy thing to me is like it's Thanksgiving, and then next month we have some of what people would consider major holidays like Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, New Year's Eve. Like, if you have to put a pause, wouldn't you rather sacrifice your Thanksgiving to have a really nice holiday season? I don't know. But we're not going to get there, I don't think.
It just comes down to people who are, like Natalie had said, they're just fed up with it. They're done with it. They can't bother with it anymore. If it's not affecting you, it doesn't exist, right? I think that's the mindset some people have.
Oh, no.
All right. Well, listen, one more topic. Hopefully it will kind of be a little bit more uplifting. We usually try and end with an uplifting topic. Instagram's been funky. They had some update. I'm confused by it. Brian did some research. Enlighten us.
All right. So as you all know, Instagram has been having little updates lately. So one of this update that came out this month in November was about like there's this new look on Instagram where you open your homepage, you find out, oh, where's the post button, or like where's their updated feed? Well, now when you first open your page, it's all located on the top right corner, which is strange for people who have been using Instagram for like in like maybe like 2005 or like 2010. Like, it's pretty strange to have this new kind of feature. So they replace the buttons where you used to find them with like the reel button and the shopping button. And now they want to add reels because they just want to like probably compete with TikTok, have that real look, and the shop just so you could have like a shopping Instagram thing like with Amazon, etc. So that's pretty interesting. I mean, for some people they like new update, but for others they kind of don't, because it just messes up their feed, it messes up their algorithm and everything. And not only this new update, but like this new algorithm has been down there since like, I don't know how long this year, but like it's been screwing up everyone's like page. Like, I'm being serious. Like for now, like whenever you make a new post, all it does is reach out your followers 10%. only 10% your followers it reaches out, whatever the kind of new post you made. And the only way to reach those 90% of them followers that you have to like your posts need to have enough engagement to reach out the rest of your followers on Instagram, which is something that's interesting, but like it's hurting me because I used to like when Instagram went on by days, not by like what Instagram like reaches, what I reach out on Instagram, if you know what I mean. Like I like when it goes up by days, when you just scroll up like, oh, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, like chronological order, not like by this new algorithm. So I want to ask you guys this: what do you guys think about this new Instagram update? Do you prefer like Reels or TikTok?
So what I can say is I have really kind of stepped back from Instagram a lot lately. I'll make the occasional post, but I've found myself going on Facebook a lot more because that's what all my coworkers go on. It's just I'm turning into an old person. But I don't understand Reels completely. If I'm gonna watch a TikTok, I'm gonna go to TikTok to watch my TikTok. The only thing I do know, which I'm kind of disappointed they didn't go through with, there was rumors of a little while back, Brian, that they were gonna kind of get rid of the likes and you just wouldn't see anymore. And I thought that was a really cool concept. And then it kind of fell through. But this new update for me personally, I mean, I've gone to click the activity feed button and then I get like clothing that I don't want to buy. It's weird. It reminds me where to click. It's not the end of the world. But like I said, again, I don't check it that often. I know that Natalie spends a lot of time on Instagram. And I know that she actually does go to the Reels more than TikTok itself. So Natalie, maybe?
Yeah, I use Instagram because I don't really have TikTok. I never downloaded it. So when I'm looking through the reels, it's oftentimes TikTok. I don't know if they're audios, I don't know if they're dances, trends that originated on TikTok, I'm seeing now on Instagram. I don't post on Instagram, so I think this update affects me a little bit less. I'm not worried about content and reaching followers, but I've definitely gotten more of a taste of TikTok now that they have incorporated those video clips, which I think is interesting. They're mimicking such a successful site. Not that Instagram wasn't successful in its own right, but they're kind of following the trend.
I feel like everything's kind of just blending together at this point, honestly. I mean, we had, I remember when Snapchat came out with stories, then what do you know? Facebook and Instagram, they had a story feature too.
Twitter just tried it.
Did they?
Did anyone see that? They called it something really like odd too.
It's
it had
like
a legal connotation.
every social media platform copies each other. Like the Snapchat got filters. Now after that, Instagram got the filters. Like I always see a lot of people with the dog filter, and like Instagram dog filter. Like, oh gosh, like please, this is just copyright back and forth.
I remember the days back when I was in middle school when Snapchat was literally just sending and receiving pictures, and that was it. There was no chat, there was no filters, there was nothing. And those were the good old days. We have gotten so much more advanced since then.
That's interesting. Yeah, the only thing with the Instagram update that is like odd to me is like you think back to how Instagram was originally promoted and it was a photo liking app, and now the photo liking is such a small part of it, and the fact that they would replace the like or notification section with shopping, to me that's just like just even more like commercialism. It's just like I don't know, like I don't hate that, like sometimes like let's say it's a small business and they make a post and then you can like tap it and it'll like redirect you to their website. That's fine with me because like that's kind of handy, but for it to have its own tab just seems so unnecessary. And I don't know, it just seems like it's sort of shifting their priorities. So
well, this is a time where there's a lot of people spending countless hours on social media. And I think it's kind of a good time for social media developers and all these different companies, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, they're the same. Even YouTube has like a stories feature now. But I think it's just a time where, trial and error, because there's so much amount of people, such high volume going through the app that, see if it works. If it doesn't, yank it. But I think we're out of time. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining us again, Lionel, Brian. You are always here. I mean, Amelia is too, like I said. Natalie, thank you for joining us.
Natalie.
And we hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe. socially distance, wear a mask, the normal things we've been telling you to do. And we'll see you back here next week. Take care.